This is Teacher Thomas. My photo story presentation will be about what the internal components are in a computer, what they do, and where they are. This is the logic board, also commonly known as the motherboard. The logic board acts as the central hub for connecting and integrating all the pieces of the computer. This is the processor. The processor is the part of the computer that handles all the logical operations. All the ones and zeros come through this little square. Here's the backside. All the dots are metal pins that act as connectors to the logic board. This is the hard drive. The hard drive acts as permanent storage of computer's operating system, as well as other files needed and wanted on the system. Here are the two ports that connect the hard drive to the logic board. The larger one on the left is for power. The L-looking one on the right is called a SATA connection, which stands for Serial ATA. ATA also stands for Advanced Technology Attachment. Here's an example of a graphics card. In most cases now, a graphics card will have the VGA, the blue port, an HDMI, DisplayPort, and sometimes DVI. This specific pin setup is called DMS59, which stands for Dual Monitor Solution. It is a connector that allows for easy setup of multiple monitors. The graphics card plugs into a slot called a PCI slot. PCI stands for Peripheral Component Interconnect, which basically means it's just a slot for large assortment of hardware that you wish to plug in. This is the power supply. The power supply is exactly what it sounds like. It has cables attached to it which plug into all parts of the computer, including the logic board, the hard drive, and any components such as DVD or Blu-ray drives. This is RAM, Random Access Memory. This is often the most upgraded component of a computer. This is the short-term memory, which is very fast to access, but is not needed for long periods of time. The best way to describe RAM is desk or table space. The more desk space you have, the easier it is to keep things organized and access them. If you do not have desk space, or a large amount of RAM, it becomes cluttered and hard to manage and find things. Moving on to plugging things in. Here's an example of where the graphics card plugs into the logic board. The RAM plugs into what is called DIMM slots. On today's logic boards, there are often 4 slots, a white pair and a black pair. In order to work properly, they must be matched up. For instance, if you have 2 pieces of RAM, one cannot go in a white while the other one is a black slot. They must go in either black or white. Here's a close-up of the DIMM slots. One of the more complex parts to install, the processor gets plugged into the logic board. A special paste is applied, and then has a heatsink and a fan placed over it. This helps take care of all the heat that all the ones and zeros create. Here's the slot for the hard drive. The cable with the multiple colors is power. The blue cable is a SATA connection. Here are some extra pieces of hardware. A DVD drive, also with power and a SATA connection. Here's the power supply placed in the case. Here we have all the integral parts of the computer, where they're installed, what they do. Thank you.